Hi there, it's Dr. Everybody with a little bit of an introduction to Project 10. What you're going to do here is you're going to hand in two files. One which has the class in it, talk about that second. The other is a test of your class. Right? Now that'd be one thing to watch out for. That is that of the 60 points, that's probably going to be worth a quarter of the points. So don't neglect. That's actually thoroughly testing your program. It's a relatively straightforward thing to do. Basically try to break your code, and don't forget that one because a lot of points involved in that. So what's going on here? Well, we're going to be dealing with currencies and converting them. We are going to deal with dollars, Swiss francs, Swedish kroners, and British pounds. We give you the conversions that we're going to use. We can do this for lots of them, but we're only doing it for a few just to keep your coding a little bit easier. So what do? Well, we give you this file named money.py, and this file is this file has all the methods that you're going to need to define in it, and each one has a pass. This is the line you replace, so each one of these you're going to replace and fill in your code goes in here. All right. And so of course we have to have we have to have the constructor and a bunch of other things here that do conversion and stuff like that. So what I thought would be a useful thing to do is to look at what we might do. And I'm going to, in some sense, show you the wrong things to do, sort of the simplistic solutions to this. So what do we do with a net? Well, this is where we have the attributes of it. And there's two attributes if you think about it. When we look at the amounts that we have, we do have a value and some kind of a code that indicates what kind of money it is. So those will be our two attributes. And so we can call them value and code, but that's not enough. We need to have the self, and we want them to be private. So I got to have both of those in there. And this won't be enough. This is a simplistic net, but it will give you something to get started with. You're going to have to check to make sure they're valid and all sorts of good stuff like that. This allows you to define a code. If we want to look at it, say to print it out, we need a string version of this. And this str always returns a string. Right? Let me put that. All right, always returns a string. So what are we going to do? We're going to return a string, and what we want is the value and the code. So you might be tempted to say, oh, return the value and the code. Well, there's a couple of problems with that. One is value is an int, so you certainly have to convert that to a string. All right, code is a string already. That's all right. Might be nice to put something in between them. But we don't have value. Our attributes here are self._value and self._score. So when we get self coming in as a parameter, we need to use that so that this is self._value. That way the what we have, well, I got a typo there. Let me fix that. What we want to have is have this exactly match that. right? And of course, we got to do the same thing with the code. So we got to fix that too. And now we actually have enough to get started. But let me do one more thing. For the REPR, again, this will be the wrong thing. But to start with, we can simply call the str. Just pass the values that come in right to it. We specified this. It has to be a little different, but again, I'm just showing you how you can put something in here to get yourself started. So let's declare something. Let's have an amount that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. Right. And now I can print it. Right. And if I just put an X, that calls the REPR. And to give you a little idea of what's going on here, let me say I'm in _init, so we can see where this is happening. _str, I put the complete this here, and for the REPR, print now when I do this and I say x equals amount of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we see that we see this line being printed, and so you can see that we're inside of the init function and we're going to be executing this code. Now when I say print x, that calls the str. Print looks for the str. So now we see I'm in str. That's this line right here. It returned a string. That was a string, and that was a string with a comma in between. And there's what is printed. And then finally, if I just type x, then I have a typo. Printing, yep, okay, so inside of my my REPR, I have a typo, so I better fix that up. And let's try this again. All right, there's my amount. There's my print, which is an str. And then when I just do x, notice what happens here. All right, the REPR says, hey, I'm in REPR. And then it calls the string function, or string method, which takes us up and now does this one. So we see a print of str. Then that gets returned, and that's what gets printed. So you see, okay, I start out in the REPR, that calls the str, that returns the string, and that's what gets shown. Okay, so again, I can't emphasize enough, this is not the correct code, but it gives you a start on it. Let's take a look at one additional one here. Suppose I want to add two values. And let's imagine for the moment that I'm going to have 20 Swedish kroners and 15 US dollars. And all, and so this is the wrong way to do it. Would be to add those together and get 35, I don't know, 35 what's. I'll call them, who knows? It's, we're into silly stuff here anyways. I mean, what you really should do is convert them both into dollars maybe, and then we specify that it has, whatever the first one is the code that's going to be used for it. But we're not doing that. I'm just showing you something something simple here, and so let's try that out. So So what I'm going to do is take value 1, which is self.value, underscore value, and value 2, which is others, double underscore value. I'm going to make a sum of those two, and notice those two are ints. And one thing I could do is I could just return that sum. And of course, let me emphasize, this is all wrong in many ways, but it gives you a start in terms of what I might do. Right. So x equals amount, we'll do 20 Swedish kroners. And see, we use the initializer, the constructor there. And let's take 15 US dollars. Right. And I can print both of these. We can print X. We can print Y. We can see what they look like. And now I'm just going to do X plus Y. Right. And I have a typo in there, so I better fix that. I'll put U in there and try not to make too many mistakes. So there's my kroners, there's my dollars. We can print both of them. And now let's see what X plus Y looks like. Right? It gets 35. I just simply added the 20 and the 50. And of course it's pretty stupid because that's not the way to do it. Furthermore, if I said something like z equals x plus y, and I said what is the type of z, that's an int, but that's not what I want. I want to have this as an amount. So let's fix that first. We're going to return an amount that has the value and something. For right now, I'm going to return, always return US dollars. Again, stupid thing to do, but we can see this thing in action. So there's my Swedish kroners. There's my US dollars. We can print them. And let's see. So now if I say z equals x plus y, right, which notice the init there. That init came from calling the constructor there. We're building something of the amount type. Now, when I say what is the type of z, we see, haha, it is an amount. That's good. Now, unfortunately, you know, when I print z, it comes out in dollars, and we know that if we take 20 Swedish kroners and 15 US dollars, we don't end up with 35 US dollars. That's part of what you have to do. Again, you know, this is all wrong in many ways, but it shows you how to get the values, how to create a sum out of those values, and how to return something. There's a lot more involved there, but hopefully this will give you an idea. Some of these other ones that are in here, once you've done add, the reversed add is trivial. Right? It should be just a one-liner. Same thing with our sub. That's just a one-liner. Go look it up. It's in the book. It's in the notes. Those are trivial ones. They shouldn't cause a problem. You know,